All right, so today's video, praying for Baton Rouge, still praying for others, others that were affected, lives that would die, that died, that left this earth. Praying for those families, even praying for the families of the police officers that lost their lives. Praying for the children, to have to grow up in a world that took their father, in situations that happen. But what we need to do is we need to educate the youth. We need to educate the ones that are upset, those that are angry. That's what we need to do, and we don't need to have their lives go in vain. But Genesis 50:20, you intended it to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. And we're mourning because a lot of lives a lot of people have lost their lives. We're saying Black Lives Matter, but we have to do our part. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for good, not disaster, to give you a future and a hope. So again, we shouldn't allow their lives to be gone in vain. James 2:16. If any one of you tells him, go in peace, stay warm and well fed, but does not provide for him his physical needs, what good is that? Verse 17. So too, faith by itself, if it is not complemented by action, is dead. Verse 18. But someone will say, you have faith, I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds. So what am I saying? I'm saying that, we're praying for everybody, and, we know faith without works is dead, or faith without action is dead. And that's our faith, but we have to have deeds. So what is the deeds? People that have any influence, anybody that can, has a Facebook or anything, they can talk to these individuals, and share these videos that, promote, good, peace and everything like that. And these brothers, the people that are doing these, senseless killings, they have to be taught. James 2:26, as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead. It says, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. So I looked up knowledge. It says facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. Awareness of a familiarity, yeah, gained by experience of a fact or a situation. Ephesians 4:25, therefore each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Verse 26, be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Verse 27, do not give the devil a foothold. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, we have to teach people that when they are pulled over by the police, how to act, how to respect authority, and how to carry themselves. That has to be taught as well too, because a lot of people don't know. That's why it says, my people should perish for lack of knowledge. They have to be taught that. They think they can say, oh, I know my rights, and be disrespectful. That's not how you want to do a situation. Also too, when it says we're allowed to get angry but sin not, when we have somebody that's angry, they watch all these videos and things like that, and they see all this and they get mad and they stay mad, that gives the devil a foothold, and that allows for, they keep seeing this stuff and they don't see anything positive, that allows them to want to go out and, act on that emotion. Anger is a very it's a very dangerous emotion, that we have, but it's supposed to project you to do something. But if you harbor that for very long, that will allow you to do some things that are not, are not nice, or anything like that, or beneficial. With this, we have to show others that, it's not okay to go out and just kill cops, just to do some senseless killing. That's not what it's about. So everybody should use their voice or an influence, or even if they're not the ones to go ahead and say it, just share a video, saying that, hey, listen, you shouldn't just go out there and kill these cops. this is how, you should do it or anything like that. That's why they send these peaceful protests, and everybody has to, talking about protests and people putting down, their guns, in these neighborhoods or anything like that. We shouldn't allow their lives to go in vain. And also too, people that have influence, celebrities, athletes, lawyers, doctors, movie actors, whatever, they should be, teaching others, sharing a video saying, hey, put down these guns. This is what you should do, and educating them, even when they have, speakings or, or anything like that, saying that, listen, it is not good to go out there and just kill cops. It's a way to do this, and that's why you look at back in the days with Martin Luther King, when they talked to him, and they were like, oh, we should go out, we should do this. He was like, no, don't retaliate. They had to be educated. And even in times, Martin Luther King had to continue telling them, this is what you should do. You shouldn't be going out doing this when they wanted to go out and do things like that. I'm pretty sure people wanted to go do some things like some rioting and things like that, but again, that's how, we have to do things. Like I said, people have to be taught in how to respect authority. And also too, the police officers have to be taught, how to respect individuals and not always, characterize or, put them in a situation where they feel like, they're not being treated fairly or anything like that. I understand that what has to be done too, people being treated fairly, or stigmatized is the word I was, trying to say. But again, that's what we have to do. I was watching a video and, the cops were saying, and even there were black cops as well, how they have to go look for some people, or they have to go, do some arrest or, bother people. And it just shows you how sad this world is trying to come to, as far as people, like, they care more about their job than doing the right thing. What happened to just doing the right thing? I mean, because if you do the wrong thing, God sees all of that, Again, it says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So, definitely that's something that has to be, educated. And that's something we have to get back to. And people have to just stand up for what is right. They lose their job, understand that God is going to take care of from doing what is right, and that's what it says, that God said he'll reward you for doing that. So I'm gonna continue doing my part, because I know faith without works is dead. Like I said, I told my my cousin, I taught my sons, and that's what I'm raising. I'm raising kings and queens, just showing them, how to, carry themselves, and like, and I know my sons aren't old enough to drive, but if they're stopped or whatever, how to act or anything like that, teaching them, how to be raised or anything like that. And that's what we have to do. We have to teach these individuals. We have to educate these individuals, and even people that we feel like, are old enough. I said it's different levels of common sense. And we feel like what people, know, they really don't. That's why we have to educate them. So I just wanted to say, I'm continue praying for those families, those children that were affected, and still praying for everybody that's still been affected by this world, and what was happening. You guys will never be forgotten, the lives that have left here. So just continue to pray for the families. God bless.